Hello everyone and welcome to DSP versus the Internet. I think this is episode 27 for August 21st, 2023. Actually doing the show one day later this week due to scheduling, but I'm here for 3 hours of reacting to the clips that the members have nominated for the week. As always, we start off with the Ultra member submissions, which are guaranteed to at least be watched in some capacity here on the show. Then we will get to the standard member submissions, of which there's 133 this week. Members, that is. Actually, now we're up to 134. And that's a randomized playlist, okay? So, we shall see what people have come up with this week for me to watch. I get the feeling it's going to be some random nonsense, as always. But, thank you. If you want to be a part of this fun, please consider becoming a member. That's how you can jump in on the show every week. That's how people nominate the videos, all right? So, without further ado, we start out with a cooking video. Something I never heard of. Pambazos de papas. I don't know what those are. So I guess we'll find out. Let's see what this recipe is. Some kind of a, Hispanic food. Let's see.
So welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you guys how to make some delicious pambazos. In case you guys want to know how to make this super easy and delicious recipe, just stay tuned and I'll show you how. Alrighty guys, so let's get started with our ingredients.
What is that?
So for this recipe we're going to need 60 ounces of chorizo, 4 medium
sausage.
potatoes peeled and cut into small cubes.
Hold on. Is this too loud? I think I'm going to make it a little bit lower volume of her talking. Okay.
Your choice of bread, 15 New Mexico or Guajillo chile pods.
Are those hot?
A quarter of an onion chopped, 1 jalapeno chopped, 1 Roma tomato chopped, 2 garlic cloves, half a teaspoon of oregano, a quarter teaspoon of cumin,
Okay.
a quarter teaspoon of black
These are all
pepper,
good things.
and salt. So these are ingredients. Now let's get started.
I'm being told it's a
so
Mexican style
first we're
dumpling.
making a red chile sauce. So we're going to remove the seeds and the stem from our chiles.
If you had the seeds and stem, it would be hot. Like the seeds are usually where all the spice comes from in a pepper. At least I know that for experience. Jalapeno, if you de-seed it, it's not nearly as spicy.
We're going to rinse them and place them in a small pot.
Oh, look, they're like dried out too, like hard. See that? Like crunchy.
We're going to cover them with water.
A lot of Mexican peppers are kind of interesting. They have different flavors, right?
And now we're going to place them on our stove. We're going to set it on high heat and we're just going to wait for our chiles to come to a boil. Alright guys, so once our chiles come to a boil, we're going to turn it off. And we're going to remove our chiles from the water and transfer them into the blender cup. Alright, so in our blender cup, we're going to add a quarter of an onion.
How long is this, by the way?
Our 2 garlic
8
cloves.
minutes. We don't have to watch the whole thing. We'll skip ahead.
Our oregano, cumin, and black pepper.
She's gonna blend that all up. Yep, she blends it up. Okay, now she puts it into a pan. We'll skip some of these in-betweens.
Careful.
Ooh, that looks kind of, that looks
Into your
spicy,
blender,
doesn't it?
About a half a cup of water.
Wonder.
Just so you can get the remaining sauce. And of course, strain your sauce if you need to.
Looks pretty good so
Alright, so
far.
now we're just going to let our sauce simmer for 5 minutes. And just make sure that you're moving it around so like that
Slow
it
simmer.
doesn't pop everywhere.
Slow simmer. 5 minutes is
Alright
not
guys,
a
so
slow
after 5
simmer.
minutes, try your
A
salt.
fast simmer.
See if it needs any salt, and if it does, right now is the perfect time to add it.
There you go.
Just mix it one more time. And
All right, so she's making the sauce. Now what she do next? Ooh, what's
our
that?
potatoes with water.
Potato cubes. Okay. Boiling the potato
So we're
cubes.
just going to wait for them to come to a boil.
Okay.
Tomato.
All right, now she's gonna fry up. So she did
We're
her
going to
sauce, she
cook
did her
them for a couple
potatoes.
minutes.
Now she's getting like a
Alright,
salsa
so after a
going
couple
here.
minutes, we're going to
Oh,
add the chorizo.
chorizo sausage. That looks good. Chorizo's
going to
pretty
break
good,
it
although it
down
could be spicy. I've had some really
and cook
spicy
it for another
chorizo and then
couple
not so
minutes.
spicy. I wonder if the actual Mexican style chorizo is spicier. Look at that.
I guess after a couple minutes, and once we have broken down our chorizo, we're going to add our potatoes.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of making a hash,
And so
right?
now I'm going to add a little bit
Like
of
a hash on the fly?
red chile sauce. That's all optional. So now we're just going to mix it together and let that cook for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Looks
So
good.
after a couple minutes,
Yum. Look at those potatoes.
check your potatoes and make sure that they're fully cooked. So now everything's ready, so you can try it for salt, and if you need any, just add it. So now it's ready, so we're going to set it to the side and work on our pambazos. Okay, so
What's
now
a
we're going to grab
bombazo?
our bread and we're going to open
What
it.
kind of bread is that? That's interesting. It's like flat. It kind of looks like a Portuguese roll, but it's definitely not. I wonder what it's called.
in half. So we're also going to grab our comal. We're going
Flat
to set
pan.
it on medium heat.
I have one of
And
those,
we're going
flat
to
pans.
add oil. So we're just going to wait for that to heat up.
Music is
Okay,
very
so now we're
exciting.
going to grab our bread and we're going to dip it into the red
A
sauce.
torta bread, that's what they call it, torta bread. Yummy. I've had
Make
tortas
sure-
before. Tortas are delicious.
Just
Mexican
make sure that it's
sandwiches.
fully
Mm.
coated with the
Whoa,
sauce.
she's dousing the bread. Now that I didn't expect. She douses the
And now
bread
we're
in the
going to
sauce.
transfer into the oil.
Now she's gonna fry it. Whoa. Okay, this is
so we're
interesting.
going to let that cook for 2 minutes.
It's called
and then we're going to flip it
Bolillo
over.
bread.
Okay,
Bolillo
so after
bread.
a
Okay.
couple minutes, we're going to flip our bread over
Mmm.
and let that cook
That's
for
gonna
another 2 minutes.
infuse the flavor of that sauce into the bread. That's
Okay,
gonna
so
be delicious.
After a couple minutes, our bread is done. So now we're just going to remove it from the comal. So grab it. That's what it should look like. So now we're going to set it on a plate.
So how is that implemented into the
and
dish?
just
I
repeat the
wonder.
process to all of your breads
Okay.
until you have reached the desired amount of.
So you're hand frying bread in this
Pambazos that you're
sauce she
making.
made. Huh.
Alrighty guys, and now for the fun part, making our pambazos.
Okay.
So we're just going to remove the top layer of bread. I'm going to add a thin layer of refried beans.
Refried beans. Okay.
And
Yummy.
of course you can fill your pambazos with whatever toppings
Now I'm getting
you
hungry.
like.
This is not cool. I'm getting very hungry watching this. Now I'm gonna want Mexican
And on
for
top of
dinner,
that, I'm going to place
which
my
I'm not
lettuce.
having today, by the way. We're having meatloaf. So this isn't happening. Okay.
I'm going to add some crema mexicana,
What's that? I don't know. Crema
some queso
mexicana?
fresco.
Just Mexican cream? What's the difference? That's the cheese, right? Mexican cheese.
My chorizo with papas. Start
Man, this
place
looks
them in
good.
there.
Man, this is really good. What? Who's trying to make me hungry, man?
I'm going to add some more crema mexicana.
Thing weighs like 2 pounds. All those
Some
potatoes.
more queso fresco.
More queso fresco. You know what that means? Fresh cheese. See that? I can speak Spanish.
Alrighty, so grab the top part of your
amazing.
bread and cover it.
So now how do you eat
Press it
that?
down, and now we're ready to enjoy.
How do you eat that?
Alrighty, guys, and now.
Is she gonna show her eating it? And she's looking at it.
But
You eat it like a sandwich? No, 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 no,
Ready
no.
for the mix?
What a mess. This shit's gonna get all over your hands. What? No, I hate that. Look at her hand. Ugh. See? No, 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 no. All right. We were good until she picked it up. You just fried that bread in a sauce, and now you're touching it. You cover your hands in the sauce, right? Like what I would do, I would cut it up. I would take like a fork and knife and cut it and eat it, right? Like I wouldn't eat it like that. It's gonna get everywhere. It looks amazing. It looks delicious. I would eat it, but I wouldn't eat it like that. I would fork and knife it, man. Mexicans are braver than Italians. Nah, I just have a thing. Like, I've always had this thing with food, okay? That if I'm going to eat something, I don't want to make a mess eating it. So, like, if I'm going to go out and get shellfish, I want shellfish that's already been deshelled and prepared in another way. I don't want to sit there cracking the crab or the lobster open and trying to rip the shellfish out. That's annoying and messy to me, right? So if I was going to have this, all right, you made it, but now I'm going to eat it with a fork and knife. I'm not going to sit here and touch my hands and get covered in sauce. Alex from Phoenix says actually it's supposed to be wrapped. So they would put it in a paper and you would eat it out of the paper. Even then, it would probably get all over your face. And me, I'm a beard guy, so I probably have it all, cruded all over my damn face, right? All right. Anyway, looks good. Probably tastes good. But the eating, that wasn't bad at all. Interesting recipe. Mexican food.
What's up? I'm Earth, or as my mom calls me, Zane, and I'm a part of the Subi gang.
Oh,
Y'all
God.
ever record
It's a car video.
those?
Shift happens.
Right there. I actually climbed that last December. Didn't even need altitude training.
Ah!
Fucking cold. If you want to date a nature man like me, my requirements are
Oh
easy.
my
Be like
God.
A Subaru, loyal, got a wagon, and have a rack. I'm thinking about making this my quality sign.
Need a rack,
Terrorist.
bro.
People say Subaru drivers drive slow. Nah, we just high as fuck. I'm a real man. For breakfast, beef jerky, frostbite. You know you don't actually
Ugh.
need all 10 of your toes? Yeah, I got 8 and I'm doing okay. I'm not cold. My
So,
hobbies
all
include
right.
rock
Yeah,
climbing,
see.
being
So what this
barefoot,
is
and
a parody video, all right, of car culture. And I've told you guys so many times over the years, I am not a car culture guy whatsoever. I don't understand car culture. I had friends who used to be into car culture. And what it seems to be is that within car culture, there's subcultures. So there's a subculture of person who would drive, a Mustang. A subculture of person who would drive the Subaru. A subculture of a person who would drive the Honda Civic, right? And each one is their own little subculture. So I guess what they're trying to say here is if you drive a Subaru, you're supposed to be like a poser, outdoorsy guy, but yet you're really like a loser pothead. That's kind of what it's saying, right?
In that order. If Mother Nature was a girl, I'd fuck. Yeah, everybody loves my Subaru.
See?
You know, even my girlfriend's girlfriend loves the Subi.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a relationship is like this land. Open. Granola makes me horny. Yeah, I like my
Granola makes me horny.
Hazy. You ever heard of Dutch Bros?
What the
We need
fuck?
showers.
Granola
I'm
makes me
showering
horny.
daily. Dope Subi. Thanks, Miranda.
About to lose another
Us
toe
nature boys,
outside.
We don't need the weather app
Wow.
on my iPhone. The only weather app I need is the mountains on the Coors Light can. The bluer the mountain, the more Patagonias I'm counting. See the bike rack? It's not
Oh
really a
my
bike rack.
God.
It's actually a CrossFit gym.
I always see these too, these racks. This is very popular out here in Washington State. Everyone has these racks on their various different cars. And the thing is, like, I know for a fact there's a lot of outdoorsy stuff you can do. But I always see people driving around like the suburbs with that shit on their car. It's like, what is that? What are you using it for? Right? Like, if you're an outdoorsy person, you live out in the mountains, okay, the rack makes sense. But, I don't know, there's a lot of people I do feel like are kind of like posers, right?
I don't need drugs to enjoy nature, but I sure do prefer.
What's funny is this
blowing
this
out for all the
100% is
Subaru.
probably representative of people out here. Because pothead, dude, weed is legalized in Washington State. Right now you could drive. Oh, by the way, I can't even watch this anymore. I'm serious. The video got claimed. We can't even continue. We can't even continue with the video. It already got claimed from a YouTuber. Of all things, that was a YouTuber. And that shit's getting claimed. Wow. Well, let's hope that the stream doesn't get shut down already. I mean, that was ridiculous. I watched, what, 40 seconds of it? It's ridiculous. It's getting worse, right? YouTube seems to be getting worse and worse and worse when it comes to this shit. Anyway, no, the point I was making is that guy totally looks like someone from Washington. He's a pothead stoner. He drives around like he's an outdoorsman, but in reality, he's a poser. He really isn't an outdoorsman, right? Like that definitely. Now, I'm curious, are there other very popular, like, car stereotypes? There probably are, right? Like I said, I had a bunch of friends who were Asian, and they were into a certain kind of car. I forget what it was. Was it Mazdas? It was a certain kind of car that they really liked, and they all had one. And then they would trick them out, and they would put the muffler that was loud as fuck on it and everything, you know. So I'm sure these are all different, Now, I will say this. First of all, sadly, we can't watch any more from that guy's channel because now we know that channel gets claimed right away. But please don't bombard me with car videos like that constantly. Maybe in a few weeks you want to do another one. But what happens is someone will watch me see something like that. Like, oh, that was interesting. Let's bombard Phil with 20 more. Please don't do that right away. Let's have some variety, okay? All right, let's continue on. The hidden costs of long playtimes in modern gaming. This is interesting. I've been talking about this recently. That a lot of modern games seem to be coming out and are just way too long for my likings. So let's see.
Ask yourself, how many games do you currently have that are halfway finished? Do you tell yourself, yeah, I'll get back to that, knowing fully well you won't? Or even worse, games that you'd love to play but have been gathering dust because you literally don't have the time to play them at all.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Hey fellas, it's your friendly neighborhood Circle Guy, and today I want to jump into what I believe to be a massive contributor to the problem I just mentioned and spout my gaming opinions that absolutely nobody asked for. Charles, bring me my soapbox.
This is all his animation now. He probably hand draws it in like one of those programs.
I don't think it's necessarily a good thing for every game to try to have hundreds of hours of gameplay. Okay, let me explain.
Seriously, is this not exactly what I've been saying for the last several months? Really. Ever since Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out, then you've got Diablo, then you've got Final Fantasy 16. I kept saying, every game does not need to be excessively long. Right? It doesn't. Every game does not need to be excessively long. It is quality over quantity. Right? But here they're saying quantity over quality, which is what it seems like a lot of games are these days. Okay.
Lately, I've seen this shift in mainstream gaming, this Hail Mary attempt at a forever game, something with endless content, something you could play infinitely. And I'm not talking about games that can technically be played as long as you want. I'm specifically talking about games with an overabundance of scripted, achievable things, quests, missions, moments, you know, that juicy content. Games like MMOs and certain RPGs aren't really new to this grind.
Right, but they're MMOs and RPGs. They were meant to be that genre. Now they're doing single-player games, but they're hundreds of hours long for what?
Need you to slay 1,000 spiders for no reason whatsoever other than to increase playtime.
Ooh, this is exciting. Does this come with a vest and a name tag? Because I wasn't aware I just clocked in my new place of fucking employment.
Exactly.
Now, video game grinding has existed since the birth of at-home game consoles. Older games would increase the difficulty or remove checkpoints as a way to keep the player playing, mostly due to hardware limitations. When your cartridge housed a few megabytes of storage, sometimes kilobytes, it was up to the developer on how to keep you tethered while simultaneously making sure you didn't blaze through the game. It was clever, often bullshit, but an understandable practice. This isn't necessarily what I'm getting at here, but it's the foundation of this fabricated playtime that I want to jump into. It matters knowing this, but being able to differentiate this somewhat necessary archaic version and the new abomination we'd later receive. But sure, I get it. We want our games to last a while. We never want fun experiences to end. And on top of that, we also want some bang for our buck. Nothing feels worse than being hyped for a game for months just to have it last a few hours. But I got some issues with how every single goddamn game is expected to last forever now. Live service games, games drip feeding their players with season after season of updates, reuse content, weird time-consuming systems where they don't need to be, crafting, and literally fucking everything it seems. Quit it with the fucking crafting! God! And this isn't even the end of it. Even before updates and additional content post-launch, every game is expected to also release with enough content to keep you busy until you're fucking dead. Some of you may think, well, isn't it good to strive for more rather than to settle for less? And that would be the case if it weren't for the glaring fact that this current time-sucking content hellscape is lowering the quality of games across the board consistently. Not only do so many games try to promise this unobtainable content paradise, but nearly all of them fail when they do. Content gets rushed, recycled, or even cut and resold later on at an additional cost. A finished game filled with a ton of content and post-launch content on the way being developed during a spike in crunch culture is the single worst recipe an evil witch could brew up in her comically large evil cauldron.
What are we making, Master? Infinite Radiant Quest!
So what exactly is content? Nowadays, games want to be a buffet of content, where not really much of it is that great, but oh wow, holy shit, there's so much here. They even got that weird-ass dumpling with old meat in it. Sometimes they'll even add to it and drip-feed paid content like battle passes, and other times they'll have seasonal events meant to weaponize
becoming way more prominent
I know this
every
argument
game.
has been made about DLC and pre-order expansion passes and stuff, but I think the real issue here has been brushed under the rug, and that's the fact that more games today are attempting to steal your attention forever, and almost no game can do that through quality. Far Cry 6, Dying Light 2, Ghostwire Tokyo, Horizon Forbidden West, Watch Dogs Legion, Days Gone, Outriders, Biomutant, Gotham Knights, basically every single Assassin's Creed game ever made, and especially Death Stranding. You know what all of these games have in common? The fact that if you removed half of the content, you'd only be improving the final product.
Exactly what I've been saying for the last several months. If you take out the grindy, uninspired filler content, you make the games better. Final Fantasy 16, case in point, is a 40 to 45 hour game that if you just cut out half of the busy work missions, that game is 10 times better. If you just played the streamlined story of Final Fantasy 16, you didn't have to do the gathering quest, the menial go fight shit. Talk to this townsperson, fight some enemies. Talk to this townsperson, fight some enemies. Man, I just spent 5 hours, right? If you cut all that out, that game would be 10 times better. But these game developers are all set on having a padded amount of gameplay and having these crappy amount of excessive amounts of things to do in the environment, or an environment that's so big you don't even know. Like, that was the problem for me with Tears of the Kingdom. Not that the game played poorly, but that the world is so big you don't know where you're supposed to be going for the meaningful content. So you have to wander about to find the meaningful content, and it's a waste of time. I don't want to spend 20 hours exploring your map. I want to spend 5 hours doing the meaningful things on your map. Understand? But that's what these game developers don't seem to be understanding in the modern era.
If your game supposedly has a wealth of amazing things, I want to see them. Why would you hide them behind walls of garbage filler? And of course I don't expect every game to blow my mind every 10 milliseconds like a toddler with short-term memory loss. That's not the issue. And dude, I understand online multiplayer and single-player games have vastly different expectations and common features, but I'm conflating the two mostly because this issue is prevalent in both. What I'm getting at is...
Exactly. And you know what? I think that's where we can leave watching this video. Your time is worth something. That is absolutely correct. You have a limited amount of time to play video games in your life, correct? So you should spend it playing stuff that values your time, not stuff that literally says we will waste half of your time to get to something meaningful. And today, more and more video games are not doing that. They are presenting you with so much overabundance of things to do in their games that half the time is a complete waste of your time. And you need to, as a consumer and a gamer, start to actively start choosing the better games that are a better value of your time. I love Tears of the Kingdom. I thought it was a great game, and I feel like half the game was a waste of my time. And that's not good. And that should be improved upon. It should be bang for your buck, and all the moments of the game are meaningful, not a waste. And a lot of games are like that. I mean, Death Stranding, holy shit. I understand what Kojima was trying to say with the message, but the gameplay was so time-consuming and tedious just to get to the next good story part. You could have cut the fucking gameplay out and just made a movie. It would have been better than the game. This guy, I 100% agree with. I love this video.
Aliens and monkeys.
Oh, no.
Are the reason why we have human beings.
What? I can't hear him.
You had an alien who was a hermaphrodite. Fuck a monkey that the aliens created. A bunch of aliens took a bunch of bacteria onto a rock and like a chia pet, or like, what are those called? Freaking sea monkeys. There you go. Once like a chia pet and some sea monkeys, it formed the human race. When they developed enough conscience to be like humanoid or monkey-like, an alien came down and fucked the monkeys. And then like that monkey and that alien had a baby, and then that alien disappeared. And then that monkey alien baby grew up and had babies with a bunch of other monkeys. And then like that's how we have the humans. And the aliens have been trying to tell us.
This guy sounds like, what was his name? There was a guy on the Howard Stern show who always talked about aliens. And he made up all these, Okwa Tanzanwan, Okwa Seawan. And he would talk about how he was abducted by the aliens, and the aliens were actually, like, controlling the human race. And he sounds just like one of them. Only he's also burping while he does it. Right? Alright, I gotta be honest. I think this is from Cyrax the rapper. What is your obsession with this King Cobra guy? I just don't understand why you have such an obsession with this guy. I think like every week now you're submitting a video from this guy. It's like, dude, you understand there's more to the internet than this guy, right? Like, I understand every once in a while you'll probably watch something from him, have a laugh. Like, this guy's nuts, right? He's eating snails in a burrito. He's talking about hermaphrodite aliens having sex with sea monkeys. Okay. But that, you know, you laugh at it for like a minute and then you move on, right? Like, I don't understand people who like obsess over this shit. Like, what? Okay. He said something stupid again today. Great. All right. I get it. That's the shtick. Can we, you know, now it's 2 weeks in a row. Can we have a week without this man next week? That would be great. If next week's react show, we could stay as far away from this human as possible, that I think would be the ideal state for me. So let's try not to have King Cobra on DSP versus the internet next weekend. Okay? I think we've had enough of our fill. 2 a month is enough for me. I don't know about you guys. 2 a month, I've kind of had my fill now. In fact, I'd always say we already topped it off. We're good now. All right? All right. Excellent. Thank you. But anyway, I think this is a good time to split the part. Thank you guys for watching DSP versus the internet so far. I hope that you've been enjoying the show. I think this is episode 27, part 1. There'll be many more parts coming. Yes, his name was Riley Martin. You're correct, Returnal. His name was Riley Martin. He was the alien conspiracy theorist that appeared on the Howard Stern show many times. I remember that. But anyway, yes, thank you guys for watching. Again, if you want to be part of the fun, become a member today. Standard members, we watch in a randomized playlist. If you're an Ultra member, we too can be watching King Cobra clips from your suggestions, okay? But please don't. I'm asking you not to. All right? All right, thank you guys, and let's put the part. I'll be back in part 2 shortly.